the one thing I've noticed when becoming the entrepreneur that I am, becoming the leader that I am, but also becoming the coach that I am, and wanting to share this with you guys from my heart is that all of us live in the same place, and it's our head. Every single person that you're seeing in these boxes right now have a story within their head, every single one. And what I had to do was identify these stories within myself. And as I became free of these limiting, painful, unique, you don't understand me stories, if you only understood what it was like with my family, with my parents, with my pressures, where I grew up, how it was for, like, just on and on, and then you would understand where I'm coming from. You would feel my pain. And what I noticed throughout my life was to have harmony. Like, I don't mind a good fight. All entrepreneurs are a fighter, but beneath every fighter, behind every fighter, there's a lover. Behind every single person, there is a heart. There is a meaning. There is a purpose. No matter how tough we are, as a mother, as a father, as a son, as an entrepreneur, as a man, as a woman, we all have this toughness, the mama bear, the strong man. But behind every single person, there's a lover. And when we all want love, we all want harmony. We all want harmony. So what's harmony? Let's break that down. So just imagine your favorite musicians. I'll just name ones that were very popular when I was growing up. But just imagine I had Jimi Hendrix over here, and I had Eric Clapton over here, and I had Bruce Springsteen over here, right? And I have all of these famous musicians that know how to play. I mean, they know how to play. And I ask them to start playing, and they all start playing their own song. That is going to be out of harmony. No matter how good they are, no matter how well they perform, when they're not playing in the same chords at the same times, the right keys, the same notes, there's 3 or 4 or 5 different songs, all of us won't care who's in the room. We're going to be like, man, just stop the noise. Just stop the noise, right? We want harmony. And what I realized was, with the people I love, with the people I care about the most, within my business, within my own organization, that to create harmony, because every single person that is on this call and every single person that we meet is living in our heads, and we all have a story, and we all are coming in with our own issues, and we're all coming into the day with our own problems. And the way we see these things is, many of us become a pleaser. As leaders, as our own entrepreneurs, we tend to please. We want to say the right things, to do the right things, to have a certain image, right? Even if that image is, I'm hard, I'm tough, but you still want people to sign up. You want people to sign on. You want people to follow you. You want people to believe in the mission. And we start pleasing these other people. And before you know it, another story comes on and another identity comes on, right? And now, again, we're stuck in our heads. We are stuck in our heads. And now I want to get very naked for you, very vulnerable for you, to show you how this affected me and how much I was looking forward to speaking with you guys today. Because when I began to truly live, act, speak only from my head, it began killing me. And to quiet this down, to quiet the noise, I found alcohol and drugs, right? When I was able to have a few drinks, or I was able to pop a few pills, it lowered that. It lowered the pressure. It lowered the volume. It lowered the temperature. And now, hey, happy-go-lucky Adam is here. Hey, Adam that gets along with everybody. Hey, we'll fight another day. Like, I just couldn't take what was going on in my mind. I couldn't take what was going on in my mind. And when I began to recover from alcoholism and drug addiction, I was able to truly find myself, who I was, my identity, what I care about, what my real story is. And when I began to live by these beautiful, harmonious, spiritual principles, not only did my relationship with me become good, but then my relationship with others became good. And I started to lead from love. I started to lead from the heart, right? So if you guys, I know we're in different time zones and different countries, all of us, but if you were to really just take your time and have fun with this and interview some of the, and when I say interview, even though you may not get true physical access to them, You can now on YouTube and through book, you can look up the people that have inspired and motivated you the most. It could be Tony Robbins, who's a big brother to me now. It could be Michael Jordan. It could be Kobe Bryant. I don't care who it is to you. But there's one thing in common that all of these entrepreneurs and all of these leaders had. And it wasn't how hard they worked. And it wasn't how determined they were, and it wasn't how disciplined they were, and it wasn't their work ethic, and it wasn't that they were the first ones there and the last ones to leave. Are all those things true? Yes. But the main ingredient, the most important ingredient that I need to tell you guys is every single person that we've all looked up to and admired, it didn't seem like work because they loved what they did. They led from love and not from pleasing. Let me say that again. They led from love and not from pleasing. And these two ideas can look like first cousins. They can look literally like first cousins. When you are leading from a place to please, that everybody's on board, that everybody understands your mission, that everybody understands your business, that everybody understands you and what you want, it becomes a very selfish, self-centered, prideful mission. And eventually, the people that you're leading will not be there because they're going to see that it's all about you and not about the mission, not about your purpose. Now, when you lead with love, everything changes. That's when the magic happens in the room. That's when, first off, you become a lot less defensive because it's not about you anymore. It's not about your ideas and how creative you are and the way you see it and the results you want and me, right? Now you're not doing it you're not in the results business. If everybody here was in the results business and we always got the results we wanted, there'd be no reason for an assembly. There'd be nothing to learn. You have a great idea, you create it, it works, you're a billionaire. Why have an assembly? It wouldn't make it right. So you are not in the results business. You are in the action business. Your job every single day is to do the action and actually do that action with creativity, open-mindedness, and love. With love, not with control, not with purely only your vision and how it must look in the end, not with this is the way it has to be, and not with trying to please. And if I don't mean trying to please the people around you, maybe your eventual customer, maybe who you're making your business for. We are not in a pleasing business. Your job is not to please. If you're just pleasing people, you are never going to have return customers, ever. They're pleased. It was great. You want them to fall in love with it. You want them to be a raving fan of yours. You want them to be able to say to the next person, you got to try this. You got to try this company. You got to try this idea. So when I really started studying myself and realizing that I had the Rocky Balboa in me, I had this tenacious, disciplined, determined, won't lose guy. And within that guy, I need everything to look a certain way, be a certain way, get a certain outcome. And in order for me to be a certain way, get a certain outcome, I needed you to be on board. And then in order to have you on board, I needed somehow to please you so you will stay within the business. That model continuously failed. And if you really looked at what the center is of a pleaser, of somebody that wants to do things that way, it is selfishness. It is grandiosity. It is about you and how your life will look once you become successful. And that never wins. Michael Jordan, before he became Michael Jordan, was the scoring champion, defensive champion player of the year, slam dunk contest. He could fly. He had his tongue out. He was unbelievable. But you know what they kept telling him over and over? But you're not Magic. You're not Larry. You haven't won. And why didn't he win? Michael couldn't win because he couldn't trust his teammates. Why wouldn't he trust his teammates? Because they weren't working as hard as him. So now everything was a competition. Everything was an expectation. Everything was about him. And he wouldn't learn to trust and pass the ball. So 3 people are defending him How many people do you think are open? And he wouldn't pass it because there was no trust. There was no love. He was pleasing himself. That was one of the reasons when they said, Adam, we have some ideas. What are some ideas you'd like to talk about? And I could talk about a bunch of things. And they said, we really like the idea from pleaser to power. It's because I know from coaching millions and millions of people is that there is a pleaser in all of us. The pleaser sometimes can look gregarious, can look harmonious, can look sweet, can look demanding, okay? Can look tenacious, could look on fire, but that person is trying to constantly please to get an outcome, and all the time, the outcome is selfish. If these people would just speak this way, if they would just understand what I'm doing, if they could just jump on board, if my clients could just understand what I'm trying to sell them, if they want to be the actor, the producer, the director of the movie, if everybody would just do what they said, act as he wanted, buy how they want, like you want to play all roles, and your role is just to play one as the entrepreneur, is just to play one, and that's yourself. You need to lead as yourself and not these stories and constructs that we have in our head. You have to really identify what you're about and who you're about. You have to be authentic. You have to be real. That's what we all gravitate to. We all gravitate to authenticity. We all gravitate to your personal voice. If I came on here and gave you Tony Robbins' lecture that I've been around 100 times and now he's a big brother to me, you'd hear it. It's not the words I choose. It's not how I speak. I would be performing. Your idea is to truly, truly know yourself. What turns you on? What gets you up in the day? What do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy in the creative process of being an entrepreneur? What are your goals? Not just for the business, but for yourself. How would you like to act? How would you like to behave? How would you like to think within your company or within your venture? Or if you haven't started anything yet, within your idea. And you have to slowly, one day at a time, become that person. You have to become that person, because every single person on this call, we gravitate to authenticity. We gravitate to something original. We gravitate to something true. We gravitate to love. We all may have, every single person on this call may have different music that we love. But if you invited me to a concert and I saw these musicians playing from their heart, even though I may not own the album, I've never even heard of them, and I'm with you and I'm experiencing something that you love and I'm experiencing something that they love to do, there's an energy in that. There is an energy, right? And then if I share with you, this is my favorite band and look how much I love them and look at the audience, and you've never even heard of them, but you're taking in the experience, you're taking in the energy. So many of us have truly forgotten what this whole thing is about, what this whole ride is about. And if you're really here in this assembly with entrepreneurs because you just want to be successful, then just pick up the book Think and Grow Rich and read it every single day. It's more than success. And it's more than fulfillment. It's living a life from love, living a life from your heart, living a life from authenticity. And without that, that is why, and you guys can read them on your own, there are thousands of studies of all of these billionaires and millionaires, many that I've met in person, that are miserable, that are absolutely miserable, that have suicidal tendencies. And we would look at them being like, you have more money than God. What can make you upset? Everything can make them upset. How their business is performing, how their kids are behaving, how their wife or their husband are speaking to them, everything can make them upset because money doesn't make you happy. And that journey into becoming the entrepreneur you want to be, that journey in becoming a leader from love and not from pleasing and not from power, that journey in becoming, that's what it's all about. It's all about the journey. Who of us goes to watch a movie and just watches the last 5 minutes? It makes no sense. Oh, look, the good guy won again. Oh, look, Superman saved the day. Oh, look, Rocky won. Don't you want to see the entire journey? The entire journey. And I want you guys to enjoy your journey. So I'm going to end on this because I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. But when I was a kid, I know I'm older than you guys, there was a show called The Twilight Zone. And there was one called called, I believe it was called The Happy Place. You may be able to find it on YouTube. And in this story, this notorious, crazy, kind of criminal gambler dies, right? And he goes to the happy place. And he dies, and he's brought to Las Vegas, right? And everybody's dressed in white, and it's elegant. These angels are all around him, and they welcome him. Let's say his name is Adam, and they say, "Oh, Adam, come on in. We've been waiting for you. Enjoy the happy place," right? This guy's a crazy gambler, and all of the machines and all of the slots and all of the poker and all of the blackjack. But first they bring him up to his suite, and he has the presidential suite. And they come up, and first thing he sees, there's steak and there's lobster and there's the finest Italian wines and champagnes and cocktails. And they open up the closet for him, and there's a whole wardrobe of suits and the finest garments, and they're all fitted to him perfect, like pajamas. And he just can't believe this. And he has steak and he has lobster and he has wine, and he goes downstairs and he starts gambling, and he wins, and then he wins again, and then he wins again. And now the whole audience, like the whole place is behind him, cheering his name, and he wins. And it's blackjack and poker and slot, and he can't lose. He can't lose. And he wakes up the next day, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And he's winning, and he puts on a different suit, and it's a different gourmet meal, and it's and then wakes up the next day, and it's the same thing. He can't lose. And the audience, he just win. And about 28 days later, he wakes up and he's exhausted, right? And he is going crazy, man. He's like, this is ridiculous. I know I'm gonna go down there and win. I know. So finally he calls over the head angel. He's like, listen, come here, man, come here. He goes, listen, I can't take this. I'm like, I don't belong here. And he's like, sir, what's wrong? He's like, oh, what's wrong? He's like, all I do is win. He's like, yes, all you do is win. Isn't that the best? Isn't that what you wanted your whole life, just to win and win and win? He's like, no, you don't understand, man. He's like, I need the juice. I need to know that I can lose. I need to know that something's on the line. He's like, maybe we can rob a bank. He's like, let's rob a bank. He goes, you want to rob a bank, sir? Absolutely. How much do you want to get away with? We will make sure that you get away with whatever you want to get. Well, we could go through a back alley. We could put you in a mask and go through. How would you like to do it? He's like, don't you understand? He's like, I can't just know I'm going to get away with it. He's like, I hate this. He's like, don't you understand, angel? He's like, don't you understand? I don't belong here. I don't belong here in heaven. And then the head angel, dressed all in white, folds his arms and says, who says you're in heaven? Meaning, if you got everything that you wanted the second you wanted it, because you wanted it, that is hell. So do me a favor, relax, don't be a pleaser, lead from love, and enjoy the journey of being an entrepreneur. Enjoy the journey of who you are actually becoming. Because if you don't enjoy the journey, then this whole life is for naught. And if you are one of the ones that doesn't enjoy the journey, and you're the next millionaire or billionaire, they're gonna be studying you of why are you so miserable with suicidal thoughts with all this money? Why is that? Guys, this whole thing is about love. That's what the whole ride's about.